Okay, Q&A time. So basically how it's going to work is that I'm just going to start off with the more basic questions and then just move on from there. Alright, sound cool? Let's do it. You could at least cut out the empty spaces where you don't talk. Also, congrats on 1K. Well, thank you very much for the compliment and the feedback. I appreciate it. Questions. What got you into Open Fortress slash TF2? Both of these are kind of boring, I'll be honest. But I'll start with TF2. Okay, so my first exposure to TF2 was through the Orange Box, actually, on the 360. Although I really don't have any memory of actually playing the game. Like, aside from playing on 2 Fort, but then again, who doesn't remember playing on 2 Fort? But somewhere, somehow, perhaps a few years later, I hear that TF2 is on the PC. And at this time, I was playing my crappy laptop, and I was getting into PC gaming. So I actually remember buying it. Yes, I remember buying it on a separate Steam account that I have since forgotten the password to. Because I was not a very smart kid. So, and then along the line around like 2013 or 14, I quit the game. Although at that point I was really only playing Death Run versus X and Hail, trade servers, basically not playing the actual game. So I couldn't remember exactly why I quit the game. But around 2015 I got back into it because I noticed that TF2 was in my Steam library uninstalled. And so I was like pretty much bored at the time, and I was like, you know what? I don't have anything else to do. So why not, you know? So I connect to a payload match on Borneo. I pick Medic because I liked his fancy hats, and the rest is history pretty much. As for Open Fortress, that is honestly a much more boring story. Okay, so one day I was browsing r/TrueTF2. Subreddit based around TF2 related discussion, and I don't remember which thread this was, but in the comments down below, like I saw someone like they're on a little bit of a rant about like how they weren't happy with the current state of the game TF2, but then they mention Open Fortress, you know, saying that they were looking forward to a public release, and I'm sitting here thinking, Open Fortress, what's that? That sounds weird. So I look it up on YouTube. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. How are you good at the game? Well, I'd like to say that the amount of time I spend playing TF2 definitely helps. You know, just getting used to the engine and all that. Because before Open Fortress, I never really, like, played arena shooters or anything of that nature, except for Halo, but that was years ago. And plus, you may not even really count that as an arena shooter. I don't know. I guess it depends on the map there. But yeah, I definitely say that playing TF2 definitely helped with Open Fortress. Now regarding TF2 itself, you know, why did I get better at that game? Or why did I want to get better at that game? Well, I was playing like classes like, at first it was Medic, and then Soldier, and then Demo, and then Scout, and then Sniper. You know, Medic especially, he's kind of a class that's reliant on like doing well, I guess you could say. You know, and at that point, if I wanted to, like, you know, experience the game more, I would have to get better. You know, that's how I feel about games in general now, you know? Like it's like how you obviously aren't going to experience the game, aren't going to explore the map, and aren't going to actually accomplish your tasks as a certain class if you just keep dying all the time. It's kind of like that, I feel. Like, it's just really satisfying to land, like, a nice headshot. Or, in the case of Medic, initiate a successful push or whatever. Like, Medic is a class that's very reliant on his team actually doing well, but the team is also very reliant on the Medic himself, you know? Essentially, I just wanted to just simply play the game. I never really got the appeal of, like, at least later on, I never got the appeal of just going friendly or goofing off, which, okay, if you want to turn your brain off for a bit, sure, but, you know, just like any hobby, I just simply wanted to put time into it. What is your opinion on Team Fortress Classic / Fortress Forever? I'm very neutral on both of them. Gameplay-wise, because I never played them. Nor do I honestly plan to. Why aren't you subscribed to me? More like, why are you subscribed to me? Dab. Self-deprecation is still funny, right? Also, what do you think about more game modes in Open Fortress besides Deathmatch, CTF, CP, Push, Attack Defense, etc.? Usually on those same game modes, I would have the same opinion on them as I do currently in TF2. Like, I love Payload and King of the Hill, but I really do not like playing Attack Defense, for instance. Although for CTF, that's an interesting case because I actually prefer CTF and Open Fortress, since everyone is a mercenary, everyone can be Bhop, there are weapons spawn scattered all throughout the map, you know? There's more of an incentive to actually, like, use the map layout, or to, you know, the pace is overall much faster. Like, it's just much more fun. Like, there are still some issues I would sort out, but yeah, I much prefer CTF and Open Fortress than in TF2. And regarding push, I never played push. Easy question for your Q&A. Why yellow merc? Well, it's more of a lime on my end anyway, but the reason why I chose that color is because, for no particular reason. I just simply wanted something that just stood out. That's pretty much it. What weapon do you like most besides the railgun? I'm gonna have to go with the rocket launcher. Hi Blamo, why do you keep dominating me? I'm sorry man, it happens. Okay, so for this next question, I've already received like a few questions that were all kind of related, so I'm just going to use this one. Your voiceover has improved tenfold. You do tend to sound robotic in your commentary. Thank you for the feedback. As a question, what's next for you, do you think? You've talked about college before, so just curious. Obviously, I'm going to try to finish college up, find a job, hopefully, and just try to, in general, just look after my mental health, you know? So hopefully, not really a general plan, but hopefully that everything turns out well. As for my YouTube content, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I like what's going on right now. And obviously I'm gonna like do more major projects in the future, but yeah, nothing is really gonna change. Hi Blamo, hello there. Why do you not prefer attention? And how do you deal with it? Okay, so he's referring to a comment I made in my 1K video, so I might as well explain myself. Like, when I join a match in Open Fortress, I'm just there to play the game. That's it. I kind of find it weird, like, when certain people get, like, a lot of attention just for doing things. I appreciate the attention, of course, but, like, I also feel at that point, like, that just kind of creates, like, expectations. Like, when people say, oh, he's so good, because in reality, I don't think I'm that good. But when people say that, they're like, I feel like that creates expectations that I have an obligation to fulfill. And when I don't meet those expectations, I just end up kind of getting, I end up kind of getting bummed, you know? That kind of like puts a damper on my day a little bit. And regarding dealing with it, I'm still learning that myself. And if anything, I just have to accept that kind of comes with the territory of making videos that people are actually watching. You know, just kind of let it be, you know? That's fine. And if people actually harass me about anything, I guess just mute them, ignore them. Congrats, dude. Love your videos. Thank you. Where are you from? And are you also a weeb? Hashtag Blamo exposed. I am from the USA. And even if it doesn't sound like it, my voice is just weird. And am I a weeb? I don't think so. Enjoy your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, and thank you to everyone, of course. Here's my questions. Has coronavirus affected you? How long have you been playing TF2? I'm not going to reveal too many personal details, but regarding coronavirus, I kind of hated it. I kind of hate how things are right now. Like, if anything, just living inside 24/7 is just boring. But at least we have video games and all that. And how long have I been playing TF2? As of now, I have over 6,800 hours. Opinion on pineapple on pizza? I don't do it personally, but you do you. I really do not care. Would you still play Open Fortress if the Bhop would have been nerfed or removed? And any Bhop tips on how to get good? Okay, so regarding the first question, that really depends on like your definition of a nerf here. Are you talking about like a nerf where you just simply have to put in a little bit more effort to build up speed? If so, I'd be fine with that. Or if you're talking about like you could barely like Bhop at all, to the point where it's basically non-existent. If that were the case, I probably would not play Open Fortress personally, or at least not as much as I do now, because the thing is I love fast-paced games. I just do. Now, for Bhop tips, one mistake that I see people do is like they make their movement like boxy, like they're playing Quake or whatever, like, or they make their mouse movements a lot more extreme, like from left to right. Like, don't do that. Like, it's like rocket jumping in the air, except you're on the ground and you're holding spacebar. That's it. That's the criteria. Like, just just have more gradual mouse movements. Just be sure not to hold W, that sort of thing. Refer to my Open Fortress tips video if you have to. Are you familiar with more arena FPS games? If so, which is your favorite? Okay, so before Open Fortress, I never really was into that sort of genre, unfortunately, because I wasn't really around where they were popular. But ever since Open Fortress, I kind of try to like explore more of these sorts of games. Like I tried Quake Champions, and it wasn't really my thing. I had some issues with it, such as the champion system especially. But I did play the Diabolical closed beta, and honestly, that might be my favorite so far. Regarding single player, I've played Doom, Doom Eternal, Dusk, A Medieval, Quake, among a few others. Like, out of all those, Doom Eternal might be my favorite one, although Dusk is a close second. If a feature from Open Fortress were to be in normal TF2, what would that feature be? This is going to be a lame answer, but have an option to disable cosmetics. And on the other side of the coin, make it so that view models are consistent with whatever cosmetics you're wearing. Like if you have like sleeves, those show up in your view models, or if you have like fingerless gloves, that sort of thing. Where do you hope this subgenre of 90s influence FPS games should go? Okay, so if we're talking about arena shooters, I think they need to do two things. One, advertising, and two, give new players an actual reason to be invested. Like, the thing about arena shooters is like a lot of players who play them are like literal years ahead of newcomers. So at that point, the game is intimidating to play, and I imagine that the grind is they're probably not patient enough for the grind, and that's understandable. So like, you know, have like actual matchmaking and simplify certain mechanics to the point where new players can still pick them up and still, you know, keep up with everyone else a little bit more at least. Like Open Fortress and Dusk do a pretty good job with this regarding movement. Like it's, you know, fast movement is easy to achieve, but it's still fun to pull off. Like it's, you know, because you go zoom. Like going zoom is just simply fun. And regarding everything else, they should just keep doing what they're doing, simply put. Like I love like a lot of the projects that have been coming out as of lately, so yeah. Why don't you crouch when B-hopping in Open Fortress? I thought I was. Like, if anything, I was just simply forgetting to do so. If you pour dirt on soap, is the soap dirty or is the dirt clean? Maybe. What do you think of players with lack of mechanical skill, but good game sense as well as the opposite? Okay, so obviously they have some sort of skill, I should respect that. But although mechanical skill might be more obvious, but eventually, like if someone just keeps controlling a power-up, I might eventually notice that. But I would still rather if they worked on their areas of weaknesses, you know? Because that'll just be better for them. Because the thing about these sort of games is like they require you to work on several different sorts of skills, and which is what I love, but yeah, obviously if they want to improve and maybe have a better time, then they should do that. But if they're just simply having fun regardless, then that's fine. Like, overall, I just have a neutral opinion of them. Are you fond of the current design goals of Open Fortress? Yeah, quite so. I may not agree with everything, but I generally like where the mod is going. On a scale of Postal 3 to Doom Eternal, how would you rate Open Fortress? I give it a Dusk. What's your favorite soft drink? I mean, if we're going with brands, I guess Dr. Pepper. Can you give us a quick review of the Doom comic? You mean the Knee Deep in the Dead one? Sure. Some parts are really corny, especially that bit about the environment or whatever. And also, the BFG is really lame in this one. But aside from that, this also gave us like the Rip and Tear line, which I'll forever thank it for. And also this kind of has like a overall ironic kind of tone to it, which I guess is fine. So overall I give it a 6 out of 10, I guess. Blamo the Chad Pyromane when? Never. I'm sorry Pyromanes, but I don't really enjoy the class myself. Am I cool? Well, as far as I'm aware, you're probably one of the earliest viewers that I have. So, yeah, I'd say you're pretty cool, honestly. Are you planning on playing and recording videos of TF2 Classic when it will be out? Yes, I will. And as a bonus, I'll also be doing some Team Deathmatch Classic videos. I particularly want to make a comparison video between Open Fortress and Team Deathmatch Classic, since I imagine that there will be confusion between the two. And it will also just give me a chance to review Team Deathmatch Classic as a whole. What is your favorite cosmetic set in Open Fortress, if any? I guess I'm a fan of using the headset with the goggles right now. The ones that are like night vision and all that. I think that looks pretty cool. What are your bindings? Okay, here we go. E for Railgun, R for Rocket Launcher, T for Lightning Gun, mouse 4 for Crouch, mouse 5 for explosive weapons in general, and middle mouse button for Medic. I'll probably work on these binds in the future as well. Have you ever been in contact with any of the Open Fortress devs? As a matter of fact, yes. In fact, that is how I was able to get my mercenary portrait into the game. With the help of a few other people, of course. Oh, and I've also since been accepted into the dev team as an SFM artist, so I'm actually one of the devs now, which I'd say is pretty cool. Are you ever gonna do a Discord server? Are you ever gonna do TF2 vintage vids? To be honest, I don't really have an interest to do so. Mostly because, for one, I don't have any experience in operating such a beast. And two, public Discords tend to be terrible, honestly. And in regards to TF2 vintage, I don't know. Because the thing about that mod is that essentially it's just a recreation of pre-Man Economy TF2. So instead of covering new content, I'm covering kind of what has already been in the game, which in my opinion just isn't as interesting. And finally, one last question. Taco Tuesday or Taco Thursday? I'm gonna have to go with Tuesday. Just rolls off the tongue a little bit more, you know? And I think that'll be it for today. If your question wasn't in the video, I'm sorry. Chances are your question was just too similar to a question that I've already answered. That, or you just simply were too late. But in the meantime, I'll be sure to answer your question just in like a reply or whatever. And yeah, I don't know if I'll do this again, but it was kind of fun, you know? So until then, see ya.